So about a week ago, Battletech Tactics, we were, again, exploring the Autocannon. And naturally, Autocannon 20, Inner Sphere, Succession Era, it's one of my favorite weapons because, well, big guns never tire, the motivating philosophy as a mech commander, as a mech warrior. And if I get up there, if I get up there with my Cyclops, if I get up there with my Atlas, if I get up there with my Hunchback, if I get up there, the Duke of Death with his Autocannon 20 Urban Mech, if he gets up there, you can have your fancy plans, you can have your tactics. If I hit, I'm going to be putting that pain on you. You cannot argue with an AC-20, and it attracts your attention very, very fast. On the opposite side, there's like this magnetism. It just attracts all the dice and all the hate on the table. Can't get angry about that. Can't get frustrated about that. I mean, your opponent has to go after that. Absolutely has to go after that. But what about autocannon 2s? And we've been kind of talking about autocannons and weight versus heat and all these things. And one of the amazing comments, and I really appreciate the comments that you guys drop because it gives me some ideas to kick around. It gives me some ideas in the mech lab and kind of a secret weapon to tap into that meta and start playing on the table. And one of the arguments for an autocannon 2 or even autocannon 5, or more like autocannon 5, the heat output and the range is such that you just start shooting it. Whether you need 12s to hit doesn't matter, and you aggressively shoot it, especially if it's in tandem, if it's something like the Jaeger mech, or if it's something like the Blackjack. So let's go two extremes here, and let's build on that comment a little bit. We're going to look at the Blackjack, a favorite mech of mine. We talked about that in the Grinder. I'm planning to take that. We've got that scheduled in a couple of days, and versus the longbow or the archer, but you know what? Let's say longbow, because longbow's got both the 20 packs and the 5 packs, and I love the archer. I love the longbow too. So the longbow as a support mech means, yes, it's putting out massive damage. It's putting out 20, 40, 50 real-time potential missiles on there. It's an indirect beast on there. Autocannons can't indirect, but look at the battle value for what you get. Look at the risk of what you get. Longbow puts up mad heat. Longbow puts up a lot of heat. Well, you say, well, Fritz, the damage output is there. Like, you can't have everything, right? You're playing Inner Sphere. This isn't the clans where you get everything and can do everything, and you're completely overpowered. So generally, as soon as I'm in range, look, I've been playing war games for a long time, and some wargaming systems have been very, very tight, very little luck-based, like Chain of Command or DBA, DBN. Some on the opposite side, like Warhammer 40,000, you're like, I love 40K, but where are the tactics? I mean, it's mainly a dice fest. And then you've got Battletech, kind of in the middle, probably leaning a little more left towards Chain of Command. But any war game, even something like obscure, like Beyond the Gates of Antares, which I really enjoy. I've got my Gar army pushing that out, playing that out. It's dice. It's dice. You roll the dice. Crazy stuff can happen. You never know. So I want to tap into that Battletech thought, and as soon as I'm in range, I'm going to start shooting. So that longbow, turn 1, if we're playing on a standard size hex map, turn 1, I'm firing both those 20s and I'm firing both those 5s. I've just built up massive heat. Now, I have to gauge, and there's a lot of what-ifs at this point. And this is going to play into the Autocannon 5, the Autocannon 2, more the Autocannon 5 than the 2. What's going on? Is my longbow safe for 1 or 2 turns? And you can kind of tell that while I don't know exactly what your plans are. I mean, I can kind of get an idea, but I'm not in your mind or your head. I might be in your dreams at night listening to these podcasts as you think about Battletech tactics, as I lull you to sleep. I'll be your mech commander on there. But I can physically look at the pieces on the hex map and figure out where you can move and range and terrain and modifiers and kind of get an idea. So if I see a piece, if I see a pack of fast-moving hover vehicles, hovercraft on there, I'm not sure if you're going to do it, but if you're in range to make a run on my longbow, then next turn I might not want to shoot as much because I might need to save a full salvo to go against and try to cripple those incoming hovercrafts on there. So as the game progresses in terms of literal distance of mechs and machines moving closer and closer, you might need to keep the rate of fire down that generates massive amounts of heat. Flip that over to the blackjack, or flip that over. You guys will correct me. Well, I know the Jaeger mech's got 2 5s. We're not going to get into vehicles like the Partisan, which is awesome. I know the Clint doesn't. Is the Enforcer? I mean, I'm not House Davian, right? The Enforcer, he doesn't have dual AC5s. But some other mechs that have dual AC5s on there. Those mechs and the AC2s, like the Blackjack, you just shoot every turn. You just shoot every single turn. You've got more than enough ammo. If you're in range, even if you need 12s to hit, you're embracing the destiny of those dice. I'm just going to fire turn after turn after turn after turn after turn. Regardless of where you are on the table, regardless of where you may or may not move. Target priority is going to be big, of course. But based on the tonnage and the possibly laughable amount of damage for the 2s and 5s, that I have to agree with the comment. Like that's big. That's free dice. That's free DACA. That's free potential crits, potential wackiness, potential stuff every single turn in Battletech. So it has its place. And this kind of leads into player personality, and we'll kind of leave on this before we turn it over to the comments. Theory Hammer, Math Hammer, looking at the pure stats, that does win games. Absolutely, that does. But so does random wacky heroics and pulling the unexpected out of somewhere. That wins games also. Not as much, but if that wins games 2 or 3% of the time, and we've got good tactics to fall back upon, how can we shift the weird and wacky and fun of Battletech that happens? Those headshots, another great comment. I've been there. You know, an awesome fires off, all 3 PPCs connects. You fail your pilot roll because you take that damage and you literally fall flat on your face. If stuff like that happens, you know, potentially 2 or 3% a turn or a game, can we get that to 5%? Can we get that to 8%? I don't think we can get it to 10. But if we take the Math Hammer and we take the good tactics and we take the craziness, I think we've got a good recipe for Battletech right there.